Most people take a gap year before college. I'm taking mine at 41. In my last video, I shared about how losing my dad and my job within 3 weeks of each other created space for a life reset. Today, I want to talk about how I was living before this life shakeup, what I'm doing with the space now, and why I think more of us need to hit pause before we miss our chance to. I'm a recovering perfectionist and optimizer. Up until being laid off, I had worked for 18 and a half years straight, with my only breaks being your typical American vacations and 2 big trips where I worked remotely to extend my family's time out in the world. I graduated from college a semester early instead of studying abroad. I got an MBA at night while working full-time. And it wasn't all bad. I was successful on paper. We spent less than we earned for almost 2 decades, enough that my wife could stay at home and homeschool our kids. We saved a large percent of our income. We lived debt-free. We built an emergency fund. We used to joke that we built not just a financial castle, but one with a drawbridge, a moat full of alligators, a garrison of guards, and a pet dragon. You might say we were really conservative, but my hyper-focus on our financial castle came with a price I wasn't willing to admit I was paying. I was obsessed with optimization. We tracked every penny, even when we didn't need to. Anxiety would grip my chest, even for a moment, when I realized we forgot to use a cashback site when making an online purchase. Even when the savings would have been less than $2. I know. It's not great. But I was squeezing every penny out of everything that I did. I was maximizing. A large chunk of my identity was tied up in my professional success and the financial rewards that came with that. I worked in productivity, optimization, and efficiency, and those things bled over into my personal life. I monitored our financial accounts constantly and updated my spreadsheets multiple times per week. My focus was on how quickly we could get to an early retirement while still living a little today. But just a little. We did take some big trips as a family, but did I truly enjoy them and relax? Honestly, only in sporadic moments. I found it difficult to get fully lost in the moment, even in some of the most beautiful places in the world, because there was always work to worry about. I was successful by external standards, but inside, I was unraveling. Burnout was hitting me hard. I often worked 50, 55, sometimes more than that, hours every week at this desk. I would work through lunch. Meetings would run over into family time. Urgent requests would come through Slack. I felt always on. I had contemplated resigning, but my wife didn't think I would go through with it. She's probably right. But the choice was taken out of my hands. My dad passed in mid-February, and a week after that, I was informed that 10% of the company I work for was being laid off, including me. March was a blur. Somewhere in the middle, I got COVID, maybe at the celebration of life party we threw for my dad. And for the first time, I got to watch March Madness without worrying about my next meeting. I needed it. I was numb. I was grieving and hurting. But I was also reflecting in the quiet moments of a suddenly empty calendar. One of the struggles I've had my entire life is the concept of living for today, but also saving for tomorrow. I had optimized for mostly tomorrow. My personal earthquake made me question whether or not all that optimization was worth it. Sure, it's smart to a point, but as the weeks went on, I noticed I didn't have that itch to get back working immediately. It's almost as if my body and my mind were subtly, or maybe not so subtly, telling me that I needed a rest. That's a feeling I would have shrugged off and kept on grinding through in the past. But in the quiet moments of this year, I realized I was running out of todays. That scared me. I had to ask myself, is normal what you even want? I've realized my life was optimized for safety, not meaning, for the future. A future I needed to smartly plan for, but understanding I might not live to see it. So I'm taking a gap year. The plan is to invest time, to be with my kids while they still want to hang out with daddy, to experiment, including with this channel, to be truly present with my wife, my kids, my mom, my friends, and to not be stuck at a desk all day long. To journal and reflect instead of reacting with anxiety and panic to something familiar that I might not even truly want. If you're like me, you feel like you did everything right. You built the spreadsheet, you had the savings plan, you checked all of the boxes, but something still feels off. That's where I found myself, and maybe that's where you're at too. If you're feeling burnt out, stuck, disconnected, or carrying a deep exhaustion that your weekends aren't fixing, taking a pause might be the bravest thing you've ever done. It sure feels brave to me. This is one of the scariest things I've ever done. My brain is often screaming at me, "What are you doing? You're ruining everything." But I pause. I take a deep breath. My search for enough on purpose starts here on this channel. I'm not the finished product. I don't have a 5-step plan, but I do have time, intention, and a willingness to live a little differently while I still can. I'm documenting my gap year journey, and I hope you'll come along. Not because I'm here to tell you what your enough is, but because I'm brave enough to finally look for mine. Thanks for being here. If you've enjoyed this, a like or subscribe really does help the channel. And I'm curious, if you had the courage to put a little bit more on the today side of your scale, what would it be? Let me know in the comments.